Hey, Satanico here once again for God Loves Comics, and this is episode number 12 of the Saga of Swamp Thing. It's been over a month since I uploaded episode 11. I've been very busy. If you hear me sniffling during this reading, please forgive me. Still, the pollen is coating the cars and still having an effect on everyone, I think. But this is the final page of the previous reading in the previous issue. Pretty momentous episode and issue in which Swamp Thing was completely obliterated, this time by napalm. And as you can see, Batman there consoling Abby and many of the secondary characters that we've seen throughout that were there. Swamp Thing had saved Abby from jail, from being jailed in Gotham City, and basically turned Gotham into this incredible jungle, which actually was really beautiful. And only after she was freed did the jungle recede and basically turn Gotham back into the gray, grimy, crime-ridden shithole that it is that Batman needs to continue being Batman. But so this is a final page, and this is the cover of number 54 by Alan Moore, Rick Veitch, and Alfredo Akela. And the good news for me is that with no Swamp Thing, that means I'm not using my Swamp Thing voice, which actually is quite good for my vocal cords. But of course, I'm sure there's a chance that he may reappear at some point in this series, or maybe he's gone for good. I guess we'll find out. All we have in common is the horror in our lives, Dennis. That's all. That's what holds us together. The voice in her head startles her, not least because it's hers. Had she really said that? Really managed to assemble such forceful, confident words? Such long sentences? How long ago? Why recall it now? He's been away 3 days. His silence makes her jumpy. That's all. Another human voice would be such a comfort. Perhaps if she was very careful, she could switch on the... No. He warned her that sockets were full of dangerous electricity. It killed thousands every year. But to hear someone talking, someone other than Dennis, perhaps if she had insulation, there are rubber gloves over the dark kitchen, and oven gloves. Those are pretty thick too. Perhaps if she wore both. She sits for 40 minutes, sick with indecision, hands clammy inside her gloves. Eventually, eyes screwed shut, she touches the plug. Just touches the plug. She hasn't even plugged it in. So, she has been psychologically damaged. I'm sure we'll see the reasons why soon enough. No flash, no lethal surge of current. Encouraged deciding to fit plug to wall socket takes only 15 minutes. The set burst into babbling life, and she's obviously frightened. Half expecting an explosion, she scrambles back across the room, the toweling she wears instead of underclothes chafing her legs as she goes. All we have in common is the horror. It's the news. Something about a plane crash. She imagines 200 people screaming all the way down. Something about the fence spinning, and then there is a dead woman on her TV. All charges against her dropped. Miss Abigail Cable has returned to Houma, Louisiana. Badly shaken after the death of her reputed lover, the Swamp Man, Miss Cable told reporters that she needed time to think. Regarding the creature's death, an administration spokesman said that the rumors of the government involvement in the killing are unfounded and unsupportable. Meanwhile, in El Salvador, that's a political joke from Alan Moore, certainly, because the same they would say about El Salvador and America's many other incursions, mysterious incursions in South America. Unfounded and unsupportable. I'm not sure, I forgot what year this came out, but maybe during the George H.W. Bush administration, most likely. Abby Cable, but she's dead. Dennis said so. Sunderland had killed Abby and Matt, and the Swamp Thing nearly 3 years ago had hounded her and Dennis ever since. That's why they had to hide. That's why she couldn't go out. Dennis had insisted. He wouldn't lie to her. He loved her, brought her flowers. All we have is each other now, Liz. He'd said that. Those are some flowers. They're dying because, of course, all the blinds, everything is shuttered. No natural light coming in. All we have in common is the horror in our lives. She'd said that. Donning the oven gloves, she switches off the TV, then feeling guilty, fetches the map book from his private bureau. Taking a crayon, she draws a circle around Huma without really understanding why. After that, she decides to have a bath. That's what people usually do just before they go. No, don't even think it. Not yet. She runs the water just a few inches deep and stands rather than sits as a safeguard against drowning in the tub. 36 people every week, according to Dennis. Wow. Dressing, she tries to remember what people need when they're planning an excursion. His wallet lies on the bedside table. Heart pounding, she counts. She puts on her coat, looks at the door, takes her coat off, fidgets for a while, puts it on again. She can't really be thinking, not seriously planning. Dennis protects her, loves her. She tries to summon a convincing image of that love. Mostly it only happened when they were in bed. But he had brought her flowers months ago. All dead now, perished in the stuffy darkness. There are $400 in his wallet. There are petals curled like gorgeous maggots in the dust on the coffee table. After a while, Elizabeth Tremaine actually goes out, shivering into the forgotten sunshine. And that's a great Alan Moore touch. The crayon wasn't broken when she first circled, but it broke. You know, she's so tense. She's so nervous. She's such a, she's been just completely, horrifically turned into this fearful, cowering person, sheltered and shuttered by Dennis's lies. Flowers of Romance. And this is beautiful Abby, mourning, grieving the death of Swamp Thing. And this time it looks for real. See her reflection there. Miss Cable, The city's arranging a funeral service for your loved one. We'd be happy to pay your travel expenses from Louisiana. At least consider it. I realize that right now you're feeling pretty shattered. I know you must hate me, but please listen. Your bereavement needn't destroy you. In time, it could even make you stronger. But all that starts with one thing, acceptance. He's gone. It's a very sympathetic, emotional-looking Batman, but in this case, he's speaking from experience, of course, related to his parents. Miss Cable, Chester Williams. I got to meet the swamp guy before. Well, and I want to carry on his whole trip. Like an environmental group or something. Anyway, I live in Baton Rouge. Here's my number if you're interested. No more Chernobyls. Chester is a sweet-hearted, good-natured hippie drug dealer and environmentalist. He doesn't really hurt anyone. Oh, these New Balance. And we see in her depression, she's been neglecting everything in her house as well. Dirty dishes everywhere, dying plants. At least there's light, but it's sort of parallel to what we saw with Liz. And more dying plants. And she takes them and puts them in the box. Or she thought about it anyway. She's holding them or clutching them in her hands. The woman in the next seat passes her another snapshot and beams with such a large family. How can she be lonely enough to spill her life so eagerly into a stranger's lap? Unnoticed, the bus crosses the Louisiana state line. Well, a woman showing a picture of her family, and it looks, you've got this kid that looks like a drooling psycho, so... And this almost looks like Cain, is it? Or is it Abel? I think, yeah, right there. I think that's Abel, and that's Cain. I mean, that's Abel is right here, and that's Cain. If I'm remembering correctly, which is just a clever little thing that they just stuck in there. Easter egg, as they say, just in case someone notices, and I think I'm surprising myself by actually recognizing them. To her surprise, she survives the bus ride. To her surprise, because buses must kill thousands of people a day, according to Dennis. Afternoon shadows hang heavy outside the depot. From a cafe jukebox, Johnny Allen asks someone to tell the folks back home that his promised land calling, an accordion reeling behind him. Traveling to Huma, gazing from the cab window into steaming gray limbo, she remembers coming here before to research her book on the Swamp Man. Her book. She'd actually written a book. It had her name on the spine. Report or burn. He's got crucifix and Jesus and baby shoes. She walks the last few blocks. An old man is burning leaves, and she recalls the new footage of the Swamp Man's death. flailing, limbs aflame, mouth opening in a scream, dying again and again every hour on the hour. Meaning, the news, as usual, shows the most gratuitous and hyperbolic thing that they can come up with. So, of course, this is something that just rolls every hour on the hour. She'd been lucky getting the address from the first local she had approached. They asked if she was a reporter, and she almost said yes before remembering that she wasn't anymore. Nerving herself to touch the electric doorbell takes 20 minutes. Abby? Liz? Liz Tremaine? But what are you? I mean, I thought you were... Oh, God, I'm sorry. Why am I standing here talking to you on the doorstep? Come in. Come right on in. She's inviting her in, and Dennis simultaneously is walking back into the empty house. There. Sit down and let me straighten this place up. Liz, this is unbelievable. We thought Sunderland got you in West Virginia. We thought the same about you. Sunderland's hounded Dennis and me ever since. These last 2 years we've been in hiding. It's too dangerous for me to go out. My life, it's been so lonely, so empty. Dennis Barclay? He's alive too? That's great. But I'm confused about the Sunderland stuff. General Sunderland died 2 years ago. It was on TV and everything. I mean, I don't know where you heard he was still after you. I think we know. And this is the first we're seeing of Dennis looking really crazy. He's changed a lot. Liz completely disheveled. Dennis looks like a maniac. And seeing the TV that she left plugged in, it sounds to me like you got a bad connection somewhere. Well, he's the bad connection, and he's figuring out, the TV, the whole fear of the TV thing was, of course, to keep her in the dark about what the news is. And he's stoked all of her fears ever since, just to stay together. Dead? But he sends Dennis threatening letters almost every week. You say it was on TV? See, I don't watch TV by myself because of the electricity. I don't like to switch it on. Not, without something on my hands. When I watch it with Dennis, I'm not real smart. It takes me a while to figure out what's happening. Wow. And this is a little bit of a tease with from Alan Moore, with Abby dropping that little plant in the box. It's gotta make any reader wonder, is that where Swamp Thing's going to regenerate? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's just a false flag. Or a red herring, I should say. Not real smart. Come on, Liz. Is this a joke? Liz Tremaine, author and prize-winning journalist? Look, you seem pretty spaced out after your journey. Maybe if you took a bath, you'd feel better. Maybe it would help put things in perspective. I'll go find some clean towels while you get ready. Sorry about all the mess in here. You caught me at a bad time. I'm sorry. I saw you on the TV. I switched it on myself, and I just had to come and find you. See, Dennis has been away for days, and I haven't spoken to anyone in so long. Well, Dennis is piecing it all together. Abby Cable's case and the circled Huma. It's like I have trouble with words, with talking. Like I've forgotten how, I have trouble fitting ideas together. Here, I found some clean towels. You're lucky I haven't done any laundry in, Liz? What are these things outside the bathroom? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drop it. It's my underwear. I didn't pack anything else. I left in sort of a hurry. But these are, toweling stitched together. They're not, what are you doing? I'm taking a bath. Dennis couldn't buy me new underwear. It would have attracted attention. You see, Sunderland didn't know where I was. Dennis had fooled him. But if he had been seen buying women's thunder things, Sunderland's spies would have suspected. I think that's it. Dennis explained it to me. I had to remember. Liz, this all sounds I don't know, a little crazy. I mean, why are you standing up in the tub? You could sit down. Oh, no. I could hit my head. I could drown. Thousands do every year. It's a sure way to get yourself killed. Dennis said so. And I guess Dennis has this semi-automatic weapon hidden away somewhere. Dennis said, Liz, you poor kid. I think somebody's done something to you. Done something? Oh, no, I'm fine. They tried to get me, but Dennis protected me. I'm fine. Oh, God. Look, that's the door. Get a robe on while I answer it. And then we have to talk. I mean, we haven't seen each other in over 2 years. It looks like we both covered a lot of distance since then. All these, like, parallels. He's covering a lot of distance and getting here. You see the anger based just on the veins. Him gripping the steering wheel. Distance? Oh no, not me. I've kept indoors. For 2 years? Oh yes. You see, Dennis, he didn't think it was good for me to travel. He told me the statistics. There's so much death. Death on the roads. Yeah, and here it comes. Look, Liz, we'll talk about this in a minute, okay? Hello, did you want something? Yes. Dennis? And then he just unloads. Complete maniac. Oh God, oh God. Where is she? Liz? Liz? You bitch. Where have you hidden her? Dennis, oh no, I didn't mean to. You see, Liz, you see how it is? You go against what we've agreed. You do something stupid, and there's trouble. Oh, Dennis, I'm sorry. Sorry isn't good enough. What if you bumped into Sunderland? Damn it, Liz. I've told you, and told you. Dennis, please don't. I mean, what does it take for you to get the idea? But she said Sunderland. She said he died. And you believed her? You trusted her rather than me? Why, you don't really know. You know that isn't really Abby. Abby's dead. That's one of Sunderland's agents. I'm going to have to... Crash. Come on out the front door. We can make it to the swamps. But Dennis... Liz, run. What's the matter with you? Oh, God, the gun. I left him with the gun. How could I be so... Maybe I can get back there before he... Nope. All we have in common is the horror in our lives, Dennis. The cold October air seeks out her her shoulder blades. The backs of her thighs still wet from the bath, and she starts to shake. Abigail is wrenching at her hands, screaming for her to run. Behind her, she hears the boots pounding towards the truck and remembers how paralyzed she felt before the unreachable anger in his eyes. His terrible, loveless eyes. He's kept her safely shut away for years. Isn't that love? She's terrified of life without him. Isn't that love? What other kind of love will protect her from this awful world? What other kind of love is really worth a damn? The love she shares with Dennis is special. Will grow into something wonderful, even shut away from the sunlight. She knows this is true. He told her so himself. But those eyes, those eyes, those eyes, those eyes. Bitch. Damn, stupid, useless. Wouldn't listen to me. Oh no. Had to find out for yourself. I'm not letting you go, woman. You hear me? Swamps won't hide you. I was in Nam, all these trees. God, I remember. We had a perfect setup. I could have kept you there forever. Both of us. In love. I could have. Ha! I see you. It's no good running. Not you or your friend. You come back here, both of you. I tell you what. You come back here now and maybe I won't punish you much. Maybe you just cut back your soap ration a little. That wouldn't be too bad, huh, Liz? Huh? Okay? Okay. If that's how you want it, you got it coming. The honeymoon's over. On summer mornings, we'd wake beneath a big, hot sky, and I'd cup my hands to the face, your scent still upon them, tasting the juice of crushed flowers on my fingertips. Never again, never. With you, I felt like a goddess. You gave me so much respect, made me feel so beautiful, so special. Now, just like that, you're gone and I'm ordinary after all. Nothing without you, my love. Nothing. The dichotomy between her actual love, Abby's actual love, with a so-called monster who was, and then who was so compassionate. And then you have, the acceptable love between Dennis and Liz, and you see complete polar opposite. Liz is useless. She won't run. Someone's broken every bone in her soul. And she was so bright, so strong. I guess it doesn't take much to dismantle a human being. We come apart so easily. Bracken crunching behind us. He's following on foot. You'd stop him, but you're not here and I can't. Why can't I? Didn't any of your magic rub off? Didn't anything lasting grow from our love? You'd have known what to do. You'd have stayed calm and listened and let the swamp tell you everything. The acrid scent of gators upwind, a patch of fungus on a tree bole that you recognize, the miniature thunderheads of midges drawn to nearby water. The wind counting flowers that rustle like dollar bills between his fingers. Abby's coming. Maybe if I apologized. Shh. That way. Where are we going? He's right behind us. He'll catch us. He'll shut up and just keep running. No, not across the flowers. We go around the edge, through the undergrowth. But if these thorns scratch us, we could get tetanus. Thousands do every year. Dennis said so. Liz, Dennis has a machine gun. Let's risk the tetanus, okay? Just keep moving. Okay. We're out. No more running. But we could have gone across the flowers. But if I got scratched in there, I might have tetanus right now. I might die. Ha. This is it. This is it, you ungrateful slut. You should have stayed home, Liz. You should have stayed home like I told you to. And he just started to run right across the flowers, but of course, it's actually a swamp. Fuff. Oh boy. Oh boy, are you in for it? Made me drench my gun. You think that'll stop me, huh? You think that's even gonna slow me down? Platash, plesh, clish. I waded through puddles wider than this in Nam. Same place I learned what to do when your gun fails. Oh boy, when I get to you. See, you can't just run out like that, Liz, not without repercussions. It causes a sort of trouble that spreads and keeps on getting bigger. Until apologizing doesn't work, and it's no good begging for mercy. And in the end, someone always gets hurt. Indeed they do. Beautiful, beautiful pages right here. This long vertical panel with the alligator. Really nice. As for you, you freaky white bitch, you stuck your snotty nose into other people's business once too often. You should look behind you, Dennis. Haha, you think I'm stupid? You think this is a bonanza or something? You spoiled a beautiful romance, bitch, and I'm gonna club your brains right out of your crop. Ah! Liz, stop it! Stop it! Not just one alligator, an absolute orgy. And there's not much left of Dennis now except that boot. And the gun sinks symbolically into the swamp as well. Gun violence has been an ongoing theme in Moore's run on Swamp Thing. And now this is apparently these little inset panels are Abby actually responding to when Commissioner Gordon had called her, Batman had spoken to her, and the hippie guy had also mentioned the environmental group. Hello, Mr. Williams, Chester Williams? This is Abby Cable. Yeah, right, far out. Listen, I've been thinking about that environmental group you suggested. Yes, I'm feeling better now. Yes, much stronger. Hello, Commissioner Gordon? Yes, Abigail Cable. Give me the date and I'd be glad to attend your memorial service. Yes, tell him I'm feeling much better and thank him for asking. I took his advice and faced my loss. Who knows? Maybe something good will come out of it all, like he said. Maybe something will grow from it. And there we are. He's not back yet, but the shadow, the spirit of Swamp Thing, a beautiful image transposed across the horizon and half moon emulating his eyes. Next, Earth to Earth. So that was a issue of Swamp Thing that was completely Swamp Thingless, but Abby is certainly capable of carrying a story on her own. Swamp Monster Destroyed, Gotham City in Ruins, covered by Steve R. Brissett, and that's really beautiful. There's a memorial set for Gotham City by Commissioner Gordon, but Abby has her own little memorial where it matters in the swamp, which is where Swamp Thing, aka sort of Alec Holland, at least that's what he said at the end, the place that matters to him most and matters to Abby most as a result. If you wear black, then kindly irritating strangers will touch your arm consolingly and inform you that the world keeps on turning. They're right, it does. However much you beg it to stop, it turns and lets grenadine spill over the horizon, sends hard bars of gold through my window, and I wake up and feel happy for 3 seconds. And then I remember. It turns and tips people out of their beds and into their cars, their offices, an avalanche of tiny men and women tumbling through life, all trying not to think about what's waiting at the bottom. Sometimes it turns and sends us reeling into each other's arms. We cling tight, excited and laughing, strangers thrown together on the moving funhouse floor, intoxicated by the motion, we forget all the risk. And then the world turns and somebody falls off. Yep, nothing lasts. And oh God, it's such a long way down. Numb with shock, we can only stand and watch as they fall away from us, gradually getting smaller, receding into our memories until they're no longer visible. We gather in cemeteries, tense and silent, as if listening for the impact, the splash, a pebble dropped into a dark well, trying to measure its depth, trying to measure how far we have to fall. No impact comes, no splash, the moment passes, the world turns and we turn away, getting on with our lives, wrapping ourselves in comforting banalities to keep us warm against the cold. Time's a great healer. At least it was quick. The world keeps on turning. Oh, Alec. Alec's dead. Beautiful views of the city, of Gotham City. And see the church. You see this covered statue. You see a tiny vision of Batman there. And kind of amusingly, police. And then that's the Batmobile. Sort of the old-fashioned Batmobile. Even with a little sort of his cowl superimposed on the hood. And a statue. Originally sculpted by Lynn Wein and Bernie Wrightson. This is Rick Veitch, Alfredo Akela, and John Tolibin, yet again on the art chores, with Tatiana Wood coloring. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered here today to pay tribute to an extraordinary life form that is no longer with us, the Swamp Thing. The Swamp Thing was destroyed by persons unknown after delivering himself up in good faith at the conclusion of his recent war with Gotham. His memory, however, lives on. Although the creature paralyzed the city during hostilities, many citizens sympathized with his cause and were angered by his apparent betrayal. It is at the urging of those citizens that we erect this monument. Although Swamp Thing hurt no one, and actually made Gotham beautiful for a short time. He was, in fact, waging war on the city, ecological war on the city, so it's pretty unlikely the city, just based on some citizens complaining, would erect a statue to someone who had attacked the city. But, as I said, he didn't harm anyone. And he was betrayed. It's meant as an apology. A unique and special being walked among us, and we didn't look after him well enough. We're sorry. You're sorry. Is it safe to feel sorry then, now that he's dead? Safe to lavish tears on his memory? Now that you needn't cope with the reality? Safe to lavish understanding on our love now that it's gone? To my right, a cape flaps mournfully against the drizzle. It isn't fair. Alex stopped Woodrow that time, and the Justice League got the credit. He even told me he'd helped Superman once, but only the Batman turned up at his funeral. Nobody else bothered. That reference to Superman. I think there was a DC Presents special, unless, yeah, I think that was it. I'm not sure. They feel guilty enough to put up a statue offering it to me as if it were compensation. But oh, it's just cold stone, and your moss was sweet and soft and warm in the sunlight. Liz Tremaine stands behind me. I had to bring her. She's helpless on her own, and I'm all she's got, both widows, but at least I'm still in one piece. Time's a great healer. The world keeps turning. There's Chester Williams. He's hitched up here. He hitched up here wearing a suit he can't be comfortable in. And the fat Detective Bullock, he's shaved and he's even seems to be stopped eating. I don't know anybody else. The police commissioner is talking, rain trickling down his glasses. I can't concentrate on what he's saying. I'm trying to remember the color of your eyes. Oh God, I can't. Are you starting to fade away already? Will I wake one morning unable to remember your scent, your posture, your voice? Oh, love, I want to keep you sharp in my memory, even though it hurts. Sharp enough to cut me. Alec? Alec? Are you anywhere around? I saw some footprints, but I kind of lost them again. Alec? Hello? I'm sorry. I'm late and everything. One of the kids up at the home got real violent and I had to help Deanna to... Oh, there you are. Enjoying the sunlight. Enjoying the moonlight on the water, huh? I could use some of that. Move over and let me join you. Boy, that kid Christine up at the home today. You wouldn't believe the trouble we had. Oh, it feels so good to sit down. She's had us running around since I started work this morning. See, we have these hot air dryers, like in the bathrooms. Anyway, what Christine did was stuff the air dryer full of... Oh, Alec, I'm making too much noise, right? I'm sorry, it's just that outside the swamp things are noisier and faster. Outside the swamp, things are noisier and faster. I run around babbling all day, and then when I get back here, it takes me a while to adjust. You still like me? Oh, you're sulking, right? I know what it is. I've been in from work 5 minutes talking about my stupid job. I didn't even give you a hug. Here, let me fix that. Oh, you smell so good. I want to squeeze you to death. I want to... the memory suddenly fades. No.
Abby. Abby, what? Abby, it's me. I did not mean to startle you.
Alec! Alec, oh God! Oh God, I thought I had killed you.
No, I was only the husk of a body that I left behind when moving. My consciousness elsewhere. There are probably several still lying around the swamps.
But I was talking to it. I sat next to it and I thought, and then I hugged it and it just, oh God, Alec, don't die. Don't ever die. I mean, when I saw you like that, just for a moment, I felt, as if you were real. Oh God, just be here forever is all.
I will.
You promise?
I promise.
Promise that he could take his loved one, and leave the city without further molestation. Due to the activities of parties whose identities we can sadly not be established or proven, this promise was broken. If it seems hypocritical to eulogize a being that we recently fought against, then on behalf of Gotham, I apologize. That wasn't our intent. Our intent was to show our deep regret for that broken promise. Now, while I think I can speak for the city, I cannot speak for the other group affected by this loss. I refer, of course, to Earth's superhuman community. Although he was seldom seen and his exploits largely unreported, there is no doubt that he belonged to that exclusive fraternity. Goes on a bit, doesn't he? Don't he? Working quietly, invisibly, for the greater good of the world. There is something in death akin to that which exists in love. Both spur men to eloquence. He is dead then. I've searched the planet for some sign of him. There is no trace. None of my people have reported anything either. Looks terminal, doesn't it? Therefore, on the occasion of his demise, it's fitting that one of that fraternity's most respected members should say a few words. Did you come down to speak to his widow? Nah, it only upset her. Just called to pay my respects. You? The same. I've seen enough and would be on my way. Goodbye, John Constantine. Go safely. Yeah, you too, mate. And listen, don't be a stranger, okay? The Phantom Stranger. I hand you over to someone who needs no introduction. Thank you, Commissioner. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Cable, I was lucky enough to encounter the Swamp Thing on 3 separate occasions. Despite the fact that we last met as antagonists, I held him in the greatest regard. A regard only equaled by my contempt for his anonymous murderers. It was a cowardly execution, a cruel death. He deserved better. Like the earth he sprang from, he deserved our respect, perhaps even our love. But he's gone, and as ever, it's futile to speculate on what might have been. Abby. She's certainly speculating. Alec, you're not dead.
How can I be dead when I'm here beside you?
I guess you're right. Oh, Alec. Alec, I'm so happy.
So am I. Things will be different from now on. We'll not be persecuted anymore.
Really? You really mean that? That people could just accept us for what we are? Holland Drive, and it's just a hollow street, like just a movie set where there's just a facade of the buildings, Elysium Lawns, the Huma Daily Courier, jail, the places they encountered in Huma, and obviously there's no substance behind them. Abby, oh thank goodness I found you. Deanna. Abby, I wanted to apologize for being so hostile to you. Plus, I want you to take your job back with a raise in salary. With Deanna happy to see Abby, which is very unlikely. She was very angry when Abby left because of the scandal over the Swamp Thing and how it damaged the reputation of Elysium Lawns. And of course, really funny, the Monkey King who terrorized the children is now on Deanna's shoulders. Quite imaginary. You do? But I thought, never mind what you thought. I'm just so happy for the two of you. Miss Cable, I'm from the Daily Courier. Please accept these roses as an apology for those spiteful things we printed about you. That goes for all of us. We're stupid and prejudiced, and we couldn't accept the love you share. That's changed. Now we'd be honored if you'd come and be married at the parish courthouse. Married. Bands, balloons.
Would that not make you happy, my love?
Oh, yes. Yes, more than anything. But don't we need time to prepare? I mean, we don't have a best man or anything. I'll take care of that. Matt. But you're... Shh. Don't say it. I came out of my coma and I filed for automatic divorce. You're free to marry Alec whenever you like, with my blessings. Yeah, right. We had fun, Ab. But you and Alec were meant for each other. I wish you every happiness in the world.
Abby.
Oh, Matt, thank you. You'll always be the friend I loved the best.
The people are waiting at the courtroom. We must hurry.
Oh, yes. I don't want to be late, Alec. Just imagine, we'll be able to live together openly at last. We'll buy a house with a big garden for you to live in, and the neighbors will stop by to chat in the evenings. And, Alec, doesn't this place look familiar? Alec? Yeah, we just relive when he was murdered. Alec, you're not coming? What's wrong?
Why should anything be wrong?
I don't know. I just keep feeling uneasy. I've seen this place before, and how did you escape that fire if you couldn't get out of your body and into the green?
I didn't. Can you hear them, Abby? They're loading the napalm now.
No. Alec, no. Say it doesn't end like this. The other ending was better. Oh, God. Oh, God, it was so much better, Alec. Please don't go. I love you. And incinerated again. You know, our dream scenario, of course, is impossible. But the other thing that's most on our mind is when he died. So that, of course, inevitably returns to her conscious. Alec! Miss Cable? Let me go. I want to be with him. Miss Cable. This monument to the memory of being that was only reluctantly pushed into the role of mankind's enemy. Miss Cable. Huh? A being that was always a friend to this planet. Who? You don't know me. My name's Brand. Boston Brand. I knew the big guy. And when I heard he was dead, I checked out all the places he might have ended up. Boston Brand. This is Dead Man's alter ego. It looks so much different. And to all the creatures upon it. For what it's worth, he wasn't anywhere throughout the afterworld. What I'm saying is, don't give up here. You're a sweet kid, so take care of yourself. Bye now. What are you doing? He will be missed. He will be mourned. Mr. Brand, please leave me alone. Huh? Brand? Who's Brand? My name's Delamere. She slapped his glasses off and his false teeth out. And dead man was just inhabiting this guy's body. Briefly, I suppose. And as for my personal pledge, and Batman's winding on quite a long time as well, pretty unlikely. If his killers make the slightest mistake from now until their deaths, he will be avenged. Leave the lady alone, creepo. Come on, you're coming with me. What? But I didn't do anything. Finally, I'd like to point out that the commissioner omitted the most important party of all from this list of bereaved. I refer to Miss Abigail Cable, the woman I feel is entitled to call herself the Swamp Thing's widow. After the creature himself, it is she we have wronged most deeply. Public disorder, molestation. Oh God, listen please, I mean I must have had a blackout. I take these allergy tablets. Miss Cable, you knew him better than anyone. You were lovers. I think all of us were a little awed by the love that you could stop a city. Your struggles haven't gained you much, but what they have gained you is the right to a voice. If you'd like to speak, if only to condemn us for a lack of understanding, then I think it's the duty of every person here to listen. Miss Cable, do you have any statement that you wish to make? Janice holds the flower, the rose, and Gordon in the rain, Liz in the rain, and Batman in the rain, and she places the rose at the feet of the statue. I'm sorry. There's nothing else I want to say. Not out loud. And every piece of vegetation that Abby touches and leaves somewhere leaves you wondering, is that where Swamp Thing is going to regenerate? Which is absolutely Alan Moore's intention. He's already laid the groundwork for that. Particularly when you see this back shot and the rose is in the foreground. You know, the Swamp Thing statue is in the foreground, the rose just beside it or just before it. Alec, where did you go? You were here just a while ago. Now there's only the cold rock to shelter against. This colder rock against my chest. We ran across the square towards each other, towards our happy ending. We looked into each other's eyes, and somehow we were both turned to stone. That isn't how legends are supposed to work out. Somebody screwed up. I keep thinking God will look down and notice, realize something's wrong, something's happened that shouldn't have happened. Any time now he's going to find out about the mistake and fix it. Any time now. Well, I'm waiting. One by one, the people leave the memorial park having done their duty. They can now forget you completely. There are people all over America right now, all over the world, and they're acting like nothing's happened. How dare they? It's exactly how you feel after someone's died. The world just keeps moving on, completely forgets within minutes, and it's as if you never existed. I remember the drunk man, Brand, telling me not to give up hope, and I feel myself starting to cry. But there's people filing past, and I won't let myself. I won't open the floodgates on that endless salt ocean. Instead, I let their murmured, sympathetic mantras wash over me like an anesthetic, numbing me with their meaningless repetition, their consolation that dulls the senses like cheap wine. Time's a great healer. Life goes on. The world keeps turning. As you can see, typical sort of inventive Alan Moore, layout. Even though, of course, he's not the artist, he does often dictate these layouts, obviously through Watchmen, but throughout particularly things like Promethea. But you see, as he steadily pulls out, overview of the city, getting smaller, like a map. Like a satellite image, like a more distant satellite image, and so on and so forth. And continues, as Alan Moore's got an expansive imagination, and something is happening. I know nothing's gained by hoping, except pain. I've combed through the past, looking for some glint of hope, panning for gold, but the mother lode has long since run dry. You're dead. You're really dead. Somebody shot you with something, and then you couldn't get into the green anymore, couldn't escape to another body, and then they burned you. That terrible fire, so bright, so insatiably hungry. The planet turned away from you at the end, shutting you out from its warm green bosom. Where else could you go? The earth rejected her elemental, delivering him into the fire, and the wind and rain played dice for his ashes. We had a year together. That isn't much in the reaches of eternity, but it was a good year, and thank you, God, for giving it to me. We worked so hard to bridge the gap between us. It was all for nothing. And the distance between us now is unbridgeable. That drunk said something about an afterworld that I didn't understand. Maybe a wino's delusion is the best thing I have to cling to right now. And perhaps when we die, there's another world somewhere. Perhaps there's a heaven so big it has room for someone like you. I hope so. I hope you're there now. Goodbye, love. Goodbye. And somewhere in the heavens, sklitch, whack, sklitch, quip, pletch. Familiar sounds and familiar shape. Ignore these phallic images in the immediate foreground, and which suggests that this is another world. It's not just the moon. My Blue Heaven. So somehow he has emerged on another world, and because the flora and fauna of that world is different, he looks a bit different with these bizarre, I don't know what these are, growing out of his chest, but clearly still a Swamp Thing. Almost looks like a Basil Wolverton style drawing, with this grotesque sort of thing that you would see on the cover of Plop, in terms of some of this stuff. But cool. So I'm going to call it quits right there. The very next issue will be called My Blue Heaven. As you can see, a beautiful cover by Steve Arbacet, and maybe the entire issue is has this color scheme, but beautiful cover. And that will be it for now. Swamp Thing has returned after 2 issues. So I hope you enjoyed these issues that were a little bit more sedate, but still absolutely fantastic writing as usual. And I hope you enjoyed the reading number 12. I'll be back sooner than later for number 13. Thanks very much for listening, and bye.